Motivational fitness coaching for beginners.
There's a new term out there being used called the quarantine 15, and this is a term to describe the amount of weight people have been gaining since the stay-at-home order. And today we're going to be discussing how you can beat your quarantine 15 and begin losing weight. Stay tuned until the end where you'll get a short to-do list to help you get started. You're listening to Trying to Fit, a motivational fitness podcast meant to guide beginners to getting fit through the proper mindset, planning, and actions. My name is Vladimir, Coach Glad Simeon, and I'm a health fitness specialist with a philosophy to keep fitness practical so that it's easy to start and maintain. We're here to get inspired to get healthier, learn from the successful, and overcome whatever is keeping you from getting fit. Are you ready to put in work? Let's get started.
It's time to get busy.
Alright, warm-up time. Let's get started.
Welcome to Trying to Fit. I'm your host, Coach Glad, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Today is episode 9, and we have been doing a series talking about health and fitness during COVID-19. Last week, we discussed avoiding overspending for in-home fitness equipment. And if you have not gotten a chance to listen to that episode, please search for Trying to Fit on all of the major podcast platforms. But today, we're going to be discussing that quarantine 15 and gaining weight during the stay-at-home order and what you can do to stop it. I know personally I am part of that quarantine 15 group. I gained so much weight during this time since probably March, and I was eating all of the fun calories, all the sweets, all the carbs, drinking a little. I was acting like I was on vacation, and I was on vacation. My family was home, and we got to spend a lot of time together, which was fun. But I eventually paid for it, especially since the gyms closed and even the parks closed. So there was no way for me to work out. And because we didn't have our home gym set up then, and I made a lot of mistakes with my diet, and it took me a while to reel it back in and to get some control. And even after I reeled it in, it was tough for me to lose weight because I was not as active as I was before. And today I'm going to share with you some of the principles that I use to get myself back on track when it comes to my diet. My hope is that you implement those principles today and begin losing weight.
Alright, time to put in the work. Ready, set, go.
Before we get started, I'm going to give you my people are different disclaimer, and you are going to hear this a lot because people are different, yet they're expecting the same results that someone else got in the same amount of time. But we're all built a little differently. Our bodies respond to exercise just a little bit differently, and our body responds to different foods differently. And with that being said, we're all different, and you can't expect the same results. But what does work is understanding the calories in versus the calories burn. And if you can focus on this long term, you're always going to have long-term success. But if you focus on quick fixes and just trying to get results, you're always going to have evaporating results. And what I mean by evaporating results is as soon as you get them is as soon as you lose them, which leads me to today's quote by Robin Sharma. And it reads, "What you focus on grows, what you think about expands, and what you dwell upon determines your destiny." And with all the stress that you are under, I understand it's hard to focus on your health and your calorie intake versus your calorie burn. And it's just easier to eat those comfort foods, especially with not everyone working, childcare, working from home, and dealing with the stress of trying to stay healthy during the COVID-19 pandemic. But unless you focus on your health, the quarantine 15 is going to turn into the quarantine 20, the quarantine 25, and the quarantine 30. Fit people get results because they focus all day on getting results. They focus their workouts and their diets on what they want. And they spend all day thinking about their diets and what they want. And they dwell upon what they want. So every decision that they make is to build upon and to build towards what they want. And with everything that's on your plate, you may not have that ultimate attention, but you can take small steps even now to start losing weight. And if you start simple, it is only going to help you. It's when it becomes too complex, that's when people begin to quit and they can't stick to either a diet plan or an exercise plan. But if you keep it simple, not only will you start it, but you'll be able to maintain it. And what good is a good exercise routine or a good diet unless you stick to it? So if you want results, let's dive in on what you can start doing today.
Easy set. Time to add some weight.
Firstly, let's talk about having the right mindset. And yes, I am a health and fitness guy, but I strongly believe in having the right mindset for success, because results are the evidence of a changed mindset. And unless you have a changed mindset, you're not going to change your lifestyle. Unless you change your lifestyle, you're not going to get the results that you want. And if you are used to getting quick fixes and taking shortcuts, those results are only temporary because you have not built the right mindset to maintain those results. And what tends to happen is, you get the results, but then you return back to those bad habits. So unless you change your lifestyle, you're not going to change the results that you are getting. Therefore, today we're going to be discussing the why people are gaining weight from before COVID-19 to right now. And before we dive into that, just think about how things were before versus the way things are now. Which brings me to point number one, is that we're not as active as we were before. If you worked in an office, if you did not work from home, you got up, you walked a lot more, you got a lot more steps in, you got up to go to lunch, you parked far away and walked to the store. You were a lot more active then. And this was being active outside of exercise. So you burned all of these extra calories during the day. And that activity is not as available as it was before. Therefore, you have to make a bigger effort when it comes to being active throughout the day to burn those extra calories. Which leads me to point number 2. Eating all of those comfort foods, the comfort calories, also adds to weight gain. And yes, it's not a bad thing eating it every now and then, but if you're eating it every day, and now that you're a little bit home more, you have more access to those comfort foods. And if you're eating them every single day, you're gaining weight every single day. Therefore, you have to pay attention to those calories. And lastly is those happy hour calories. People do not realize how many calories are in alcohol. the calories in alcohol is almost as much as calories in fat. And you will gain a lot more weight quicker drinking it than eating it, because it's just easier to drink. And you don't realize that when you're drinking, you're also ingesting those bad calories, because your taste buds are kind of numb. So you're eating those high salt, high calorie foods, because you never see people have broccoli with their beer. So you see that not being active, not being as active, eating those comfort foods and drinking more than before adds and adds and adds. And unless you make a lifestyle change, that quarantine 15 is going to be a quarantine 20, and then a quarantine 25, then a quarantine 30. But you can start today. You have it in you to change today if you start simple. It's when it becomes too complex, people don't get started and they don't maintain it. But you could take steps even right now to begin losing weight.
Time to cool down.
I am going to close the show with this. Will it be difficult? Yes. But it's also going to be worth it. Remember that when you're at your optimal health, you're not only protecting yourself, but you're protecting your family. Therefore, if you take control of your health and fitness now, you are keeping you and your family safe during this weird time that we're all in. And it's going to be totally worth it. And you're going to be able to start and to finish if you keep it simple. Therefore, take care of your health now. And I want you to try it yourself. Remember, keeping it simple allows you to start with everything that you have on your plate. It allows you to start today. And the number one thing that I want you to do is focus on drinking more water. Not only does water help keep you full so you're not having those cravings throughout the day, but staying hydrated throughout the day is going to allow you to have more energy. And if you have more energy, you'll be able to have more energy for yourself, your family, and your workout. And the number two thing is I want you to add more color to your plate. Remember, if you're adding color that comes from your fruits and your vegetables, you're adding nutrients to yourself, and this is going to help boost your immune system, and it's going to help you to lose weight. And the last thing is be more active. And I don't necessarily mean through just exercise. You can use your phone, a watch, or an app. I want you to set an alarm the last 10 minutes of every hour so that you just get up, you stretch, you just take some steps, you go walking outside, you go walk your dog, you go play with your children, doing something active, because that extra calorie burn is going to add up at the end of the day, and that is going to help you to lose weight. Now, I kept it extremely simple for you to start and to maintain, but nothing works unless you do. People think that if it's complex, it has to work, but at this time, a simple start means that you can maintain it, you could stay consistent, and you can build upon it with more complex things. But our goal right now is just to be consistent.
Good work today. You pushed yourself.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Trying to Fit. I'm your host, Coach Glad, and we're going to continue this conversation in our Trying to Fit online community on Patreon. With just a few dollars a month, you can support us on Patreon, and in return, you'll get the support you need to chase your fitness goals. check us out next week where we're going to be discussing the future of health and fitness and what that means to you. And if nobody has told you yet, I love you, God bless you, and be unstoppable. Bye-bye.
Join the